fire of Aries is an outburst, just like a volcano, a blast of the volcano. A movable sign represents venture, change, adaptability, the ability to move on. Aries, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn. The first house is called ascendant. Then we come into the second house, third house, fourth house. Why Mercury is neutral? Because Mercury has his no own nature. With whoever Mercury resides, Mercury tries to behave like that particular planet.
According to my personal view, there is no exaltation and debilation state for Rahu and Ketu. Rahu and Ketu are basically called the southern node and the northern node of moon.
Namaskar, welcome to the Astroanswer Vedic Academy. Today's topic, understanding the chart, 12 Rashis and 9 planets. So in Vedic Astrology, there are 3 types of charts being studied. North Indian style chart, South Indian style and East Indian style. So we'll be basically studying the North Indian style chart, जो ज़्यादातर स्क्रिप्चर्स इसी चार्ट को यूज़ करके लिखा गया है. इसको डायमंड चार्ट भी कहा जाता है. So in diamond chart, we have 12 houses and 12 rashis, which are found in those houses in various clockwise or anti-clockwise directions. First, let us found the way of counting the houses. How the houses should be counted. The houses are always fixed in diamond chart and it is counted anti-clockwise. The first house is called ascendant. Then we come into the second house, third house, fourth house, fifth house, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th and 12th. Now these number what I am saying is about the house numbers, but you might get confused when you see a chart because in the first house the number of 5 can be written. That doesn't mean number 5 is the 5th house in the first house. It's not like that. Number 5 is the Rashi number. If you found, it's written in the first house of the second house. For that we have to understand what is the sequence of the Rashis. In Vedic astrology, Maharishi Parashar has given us a sequence of Rashis. So following that sequence, we can figure out which Rashi falls into which number. Number 1 Rashi is Aries, number 2 Taurus, number 3 Gemini, number 4 Cancer, number 5 Leo, number 6 Virgo, number 7 Libra, number 8 Scorpio, number 9 Sagittarius, number 10 Capricorn, number 11 Aquarius and number 12 Pisces. Now in some charts, if you see that in the first house sign number 6 is written, that is, this is the chart of Virgo ascendant. If in the 10th house a sign of 4 is written, that means in 10th house the sign of Cancer is there. So in this way, where whichever house is having whichever number, we will be figuring out it as in this particular house that particular Rashi is being present. One more example, in the second house number 8 is written, that means in the second house sign number Scorpio is there. Now for example, you will see many other planets are also hovering over there. Now in one chart you may figure out in second house sign number 8 and planet Mars is there. So we call it Mars is in Scorpio in second house. Or for example, sign number 1 is there in the first house and planet Sun is posited there. So how do you call it? Sun is placed in Aries in first house. Now there is a new term came into the action, Sun in Aries. What does that mean? What does Sun in Aries mean? What does Sun in Taurus mean? What does Sun in Sagittarius mean? Or what does Mars in Scorpio means? Now before we have understood what are the Rashis, what are the zodiacs, the sequence of the zodiacs. Now let us understand zodiacs in details and let us know what is the definition of zodiacs. What is a zodiac is basically a constellation of stars. नक्षत्र पुंज है वो, सोलर सिस्टम से कई लाइट ईयर दूर सिचुएटेड हुए बहुत सारे नक्षत्र की एक कॉम्बिनेशन है जिनको रेयरली आसमान में नेक्ड आई देखी जा सकती है. Now there comes the beauty of astrology of our ancient rishis, they have figured it out that which constellation comes in which month of the year, and that's how the entire Panchang is written. So let us understand it in a better note, that what does Sun in Aries means. For example, we are situated in this earth and we can see the Sun from earth. Now imagine this is earth, this is Sun, and there is something beyond the Sun, a constellation, say for example Aries. So now here we are situated in earth, and from that we can see Sun, and after Sun there is the Aries. So we are seeing the Aries through Sun. This scenario is called Sun in Aries. In the cosmic movement, Sun is hovering in its own axis, Earth is moving in its own axis, so the other constellation in the cosmos are moving in their own axis. So in this movement, Sun sometimes comes to the Taurus. From Earth we can see Taurus through Sun. This particular situation is called Sun in Taurus. Sometimes we can see Sagittarius through Sun. This particular situation is called Sun in Sagittarius. In the same process, the other planets in other signs are pronounced like that. For example, Venus in Aries, that means we are seeing Aries through Venus. This is the combination which goes on in the cosmic world, and based on that certain calculations are being predicted. Now let us know which particular sign is ruled by which planet according to Hindu astrology. Aries is ruled by Mars, Taurus is ruled by Venus, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, Cancer is ruled by Moon, Leo is ruled by Sun, Virgo is ruled by Mercury again, Libra is ruled by Venus again, Scorpion is ruled by Mars and Ketu, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, Aquarius is again ruled by Saturn and Rahu, and finally Pisces is ruled by again Jupiter. So now we know the owners of each zodiac signs. But there is another concept now, exaltation planet and debilation planet. So every planet has an exaltation state, that means उच्च का हो जाना, and debilation state, that means नीच का हो जाना. The rule to understand this process is every planet that gets exalted in a sign and gets debilitated exactly 7th from the exaltation sign. So let us understand the cycle, how the exaltation and debilation goes on. The planet Sun gets exalted in the sign of Aries and gets debilitated in the sign of Libra. Now you see, Libra is exactly 7th number from the Aries. In the same sequence, Moon gets exalted in the Taurus and gets debilitated in Scorpio. Mercury gets exalted in Virgo and gets debilitated in Pisces.
Mars exalted in Capricorn, debilitated in Cancer. Jupiter exalted in Cancer, debilitated in Capricorn. Saturn exalted in Libra, debilitated in Aries. Venus exalted in Pisces, debilitated in Pearl. Now remaining two planets are Rahu and Ketu. According to my personal view, there is no exaltation and debilation state for Rahu and Ketu because they are the imaginary points. Rahu and Ketu are basically called the southern node and the northern node of Moon, and specifically two imaginary points for the both of the axis of Moon. So there has no physical presence in the cosmos. So according to me, there is no exaltation and debilation point. But few of the scriptures has mentioned their exaltation and debilation points. For example, few scripture says Rahu gets exalted into Gemini, gets debilitated into Sagittarius, whereas Ketu gets exalted in Sagittarius and gets debilitated into Gemini.
Apart from the exaltation and debilation state, there is another term called Mool Trikon. Mool Trikon is like another state of the planets which defines a lots of things in astrology. So we are not enlarging this video describing the Mool Trikon. You will find it in the notes given. in the PDF. We'll be uploading a link in the description, so you can go ahead about it. So now let me explain what does this exaltation state and debilation state means. What is the scenario? What does that mean? For example, the planet Mars is a fiery planet. Now there is so many tattva of each planet, like fire element, water element, air element, earthen element. So we'll be studying these also, dual signs and all these things, airy signs. All these things we will be studying in the coming videos. But let us understand this fiery planet, like Sun, Mars, these are the fiery planets. Now Cancer is actually a watery sign. The Lord is Moon. Moon represents water. So you see, Mars gets debilitated in Cancer. What does the scenario mean? How to understand what's happening over there? What does this mean? If you find that Mars is in Cancer at someone's chart, what does that make sense? What is it? Imagine a scenario that you got a red boiling burning ball. It's completely burning. It's a red hot ball, and you kept it in a ice cold water. What will happen? That particular scenario means debilation state. Like obviously in this particular scenario, that red hot ball won't be in comfort zone. Just like Mars won't be in comfort zone and won't be able to give you proper result. That's what we mean Mars debilation. This particular thing happens with every particular planets in exaltation and debilation signs. For example, what does the exaltation means? Adding the similar kind of sign, similar element of sign to the similar element of planets. For example, why does Sun gets exalted in Aries? Because Aries is a fiery sign and Sun is also a fiery planet. Now both the fire is together. That is very obvious. The heat will be much more increasing in this particular scenario. That's called the exaltation sign. उच्च का हो जाता है सूर्य. So obviously Sun will give you very prior result in this particular zone. That's how Sun gets debilitated in Libra. Somehow Sun loses its energy there. Sun loses that sharpness, that brightness somewhere in Libra. That's why he got debilitated. It is a beautiful story. How does Sun gets debilitated in Libra? We shall be covering in the upcoming videos. So this was the essence of debilation and exaltation. Now there is something more to study about the planets. That is the friendship and enemyship of each planets. So let us have a chart for this, the enemyship and the friendship of the each planets. There are many controversies between this friendship and enemyship of the planets. Many astrologers, many Muni Rishi have their own version of this particular friendship and enemyship. For example, Chamatkar Chintamani says Saturn is not an enemy of Moon, whereas Bhrigu Nandinari and Parashar says Saturn and Moon are very big enemies. So this is an theory or doctrine, whatever you say, but whenever you will be studying in practical note or you will be studying with the energies, you will be figuring out, okay, this enemyship and friendship is for very basic knowledge. The main thing is the distribution of energy. But since it's a very foundation course, you have to understand, you have to know how it's happening. You need to have the basic idea of the planets. I'm giving you this chart, which I have made after studying all these things. You just can have this as a reference for the friendship and enemyship of each planets. Let's begin with Sun. Friendly planets for Sun is Moon, Mars and Jupiter. Enemy planets Venus, Saturn and Rahu. Neutral planets Mercury. Why Mercury is neutral? Because Mercury has his no own nature. With whoever Mercury resides, Mercury tries to behave like that particular planet. That's why Mercury is neutral in maximum cases. For Moon, the friendly planet is Sun and Mercury. Enemy planet Saturn, Rahu and Ketu. Neutral planets Jupiter, Venus and Mars. For Mars, friendly planets are Sun, Moon and Jupiter. Enemy planets Mercury. neutral planets Venus, Saturn, Rahu and Ketu. For Mercury, Sun and Venus are friendly planets, enemy planets Moon and Ketu. Neutral planets Mars, Jupiter, Saturn and Rahu. For Jupiter, Sun, Moon, Mars are friendly planets, Mercury, Venus, Rahu enemy planets, Saturn and Ketu are neutral planets. For Venus, Mercury, Saturn, Rahu are friendly planets. Rahu are considered neutral in some cases, but enemy planets Sun and Moon, neutral planets Mars, Jupiter and Ketu. For Saturn, friendly planets are Mercury, Venus, Rahu, enemy planets Sun, Moon, Mars, Rahu, neutral planets Mercury and Jupiter. For Rahu, friendly planets Venus and Saturn, enemy planets Sun, Moon and Mars, neutral planets Mercury, Jupiter and Ketu. For Ketu, friendly planets are Sun and Mars, enemy planets are Venus and Saturn, neutral planets are Mercury, Jupiter, Moon and Rahu. So now we know the friendship and enemyship of the planets. Now let us understand various type of signs. So we can distribute or classify the signs in three different community. What are those? Movable signs, fixed signs and dual signs. So what are those and why certain things are happening like that? What does that mean? What is a movable sign? A movable sign represents venture, change, adaptability, the ability to move on. All these things are represented by the movable signs. So what are those signs? First, 4th, 7th and 10th. The signs that fall in the Kendra houses, the center houses. First house, 4th house, 7th house, 10th house, that is Aries, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn. They are known as movable signs. They hold certain powers to change and rule your life. Then comes fixed signs. What is a fixed sign? Fixed sign represents stability, focus, persistence. All these things are known as fixed signs. What are the signs? 2nd house, 5th house, 8th house and 11th house. That is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio and Aquarius. Then comes the dual signs. People with dual signs are actually having the qualities of both movable and the fixed signs. So somehow people who are born under these signs do have dual nature. They do face the duality. And what are those dual signs? 3rd house, 6th house, 9th house and 12th house, that is Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius and Pisces. Such signs are known as dual signs. Duality, and if you observe very minutely, if you observe them very closely, you will see everything they try to balance off, everything they try to do from both ends. Many Pisces people, you notice, even if they try to close up a zip, they won't try the zip in one end to another end. They will take both the zip together and will close in the middle. Pisces people. This is a characteristic of such dual signs, whatever they do. These 12 zodiac signs can be divided into 4 more other sections based on their elements, like Aries, Leo and Sagittarius are known as fiery signs. Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn are earthen signs. Air signs are Gemini, Libra and Aquarius. Watery signs are Cancer, Scorpion and Pisces. Now, what does that mean? What does that element signifies? Like Aries, Leo and Sagittarius, 3 of them are fiery signs, but their fiery nature are not same. It is different. Like Aries, the fire of Aries is an outburst, just like a volcano, a blast of the volcano. Whereas the fire of Leo is much more controlled, Like this fire, if you mastered this energy, you can do lots of things because it's a controlled fire. Whereas the fire of Sagittarius is low flaming, it's flowing under the ground. It's when a lava is flowing underground, it's hidden. The fire of Sagittarius is hidden. In very rare cases, it outbursts and it destroys everything. Since Leo is a very controlled fire, once it gets out of control, it has the quality of destroy everything. Whereas the fire of Aries is very, very uncontrolled. This is always in distraction mode, always in a specific focused distraction mode. So whenever we are studying the elements of each sign, it has lots of things to understand. In the coming videos, we'll have a dedicated video for each sign to understand their qualities. This much till today. In the next videos, we shall be seeing other significant terms, Badhaka and Maraka. Badhaka is a planet who gives you obstacles. Maraka is a planet who causes death-like pain or the death itself. And many other significant terms which is very basics but very, very important to learn astrology, to learn astrological practices. Till then, take care. All the best for the upcoming future.